I love your sweater.
Thank you. I get in a lot of fights with dads about it
Yeah.
because they don't know. They're like,
I mean, it makes sense.
it's funny. So that actually is my grandma got it for me,
Mhm.
and I like laughed a lot because it's really nerdy.
Yeah.
And she thought when I opened it for Chris, and she thought it was like something like inappropriate because she doesn't know what it means.
Mhm.
She doesn't play, so she thought I like was laughing like a lot because I'm not cool, and she she was like, "Oh my god, it's not inappropriate." I was like, "No, that's actually it's much worse than that.
Yeah.
It's
That
much lame. It's much lamer than that." Yeah,
it's pretty nerdy, but hey, it's awesome.
fits the vibe.
Yeah, the vibes. So we'll start off with the first question.
Cool.
When did you know music was going to be a part of your life?
Uh, I was okay. I've been doing the music with the same guy for 21 years now.
Mhm.
My buddy DJ who plays in Stop Drop Rewind with me, but we were laughing with the guy who records us yesterday, our producer Roy, because we were talking about bands where it's a group of buds and they got that one guy they want to be in the band, but everybody plays something, so they make him play bass,
Yeah.
and then our producer always ends up having to like ghost play his bass parts because it's just their buddy who they handed a bass to. He doesn't actually know anything. We've all met that guy.
Yeah,
Um,
been there.
I am that guy. He doesn't ghost my parts, but uh, they DJ and our friend from school at the time did do the like, hey, we have a guitar and a drum set, so you play bass now. Um, and that was in 2000 or like early 2001, like late 2000. I got kind of hooked. I told him yesterday, I said the problem was that I'm a big dork. And so then I tried to do a good job. I wasn't like all those other guys who just are like, yeah, I play bass for this band and they know like three notes.
Yeah,
I was
three
like,
minutes.
how does this thing work? And I tried to be good at it like a lame.
So you got put in the bass position. You got
I did.
assigned the bass position.
Although I feel lucky that I did because I discovered I have a aptitude for it or enough of one, but also really like it.
So
So I'm not.
that's
I am kind of a multi instrumentalist, but I
Mhm.
like bass is the thing that I like do for real and like think about all the time and get really excited about or nerd out about.
So that's 2001. Like, what were there any bands or bass players that influenced you to like practice or just
Oh yeah. Well, you may have heard of this guy, little known Mark Hoppus.
yeah.
Yeah. We were pretty heavy into all that because that was right when that was like starting like surging anyway,
Hmm.
and we were 10, like 11. So
Yeah.
then you think it's like the coolest thing in the world because your parents hate it and like it sounds like all raucous and you don't realize how corporatized it already was at that time, right? But you think it's cool, right? And I still listen to all that stuff. So we got real. Our like punk rock pop punk band did all like the Green Day, Sum 41. We got into Taking Back Sunday, and kind of delved down like the emo rabbit hole out of that. But though we were playing Thursday songs, we were playing brand new songs, we played Under Oath songs. That's like all later. But early, I learned like albums of Blink songs and just like hung out in my room and played those. And then I started doing Rush tunes too because I really like Geddy Lee. Those are probably like the biggest two from growing up.
How were you like learning? Were you like reading the books or just tabs or just by ear?
It was by ear, yeah.
And
I hate tab because I can't read it very well, and we already have a system that gives you more information than tab. I guess I don't want to get put on blast. If you use tab, that's great, but get put on blast on the internet for saying I hate tab here. I hate tab. You can either learn it by ear or read it off of like actual sheet music because it's you can read music faster than tab. That's
Yeah.
like the point of notated music. But that kind of paid off, right? Because like you do a lot of covers on your channel and like your page and stuff. You're mostly like getting those out or like figuring it out yourself so you can get like a good vibe on it and stuff too.
Yeah, yeah, for the most part. If there's parts like I don't know, or maybe I want to like try to play like note for note what it is,
Right.
I'll look more like on Ultimate Guitar. They have like normally they have like 9 times out of 10 the actual official like tablature for
Oh,
it.
that's cool. Okay.
But that's on the app, and like you need a membership and all that stuff for it, which is just like another little
I am
point
apparently
to that.
out of the loop and I just learned songs off the record and I don't even know that was an app.
Yeah, I mean, so like I grew up with tabs, but the main reason is because I wasn't taught like how to read music really like so just how like for you when you learned music, like when did you start learning how to read music?
I was lucky because I was really involved in band in school. So did you play like horn or like drums or any instrument in school band at all?
No, like in elementary, like we had a just general music class where we
Yeah.
learned like keyboard. I can play like Ode to Joy
Woo.
and then we did like choir and stuff. But when I went to high school, I went to like a private school, so it was a like Catholic school. They did have band and stuff there, but I went more like journalism and photography, which like
Oh,
was just
that's cool.
different, yeah, a different elective. But I was more at that time I was more like new metal kid, like metal. I don't need like this nerdy band stuff. I'm in a real band kind of deal, which like I didn't even learn, like
Yep.
I learned how to play tabs or whatever, but I didn't learn maybe the fundamentals of music and music theory.
Which and are good to know, but like but like everybody
Yeah.
plays without that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
not like how many of those new metal guys knew that? It's like
Yeah,
you
exactly.
guys, right? um, oh yeah, so I was real heavy in school band, which like is as nerdy as it sounds, but I took it to the next level of nerdy, which was then I would like kind of if we learned relevant information in school. I played oboe, and then I taught myself tuba too to do
Okay.
marching band, and then ended up taking tuba probably way too far. So I did like the county, I don't know, whatever they call it down by you, but like you try out for like the county thing, and they have you play it like we played where the Baltimore Symphony plays because I grew up in Maryland. And then I like the next year I did like a tour, like a Midwest tour playing tuba for like a concert band and stuff.
Dang.
So yeah, way too much tuba. I've done like low end across the board on most. Like I play bass in like rock and jazz bands and like school and stuff and church band. I've done upright bass for jazz band and like a symphony setting, and then I've also played tuba for marching band and like a wind ensemble. So I like bass.
Do you think that your knowledge of like reading music and just having that general theory helps you learn instruments faster?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably right.
Yeah.
Or it makes it more frustrating because you like I know what it should be, but you can't because I mean it's like a new instrument. You can't do it just because you know what the notes are supposed to be doesn't mean you can actually play the stupid thing.
Yeah.
So I would love to learn to play saxophone. That's like the only instrument I've never played.
Dang.
And like so of course I think it's just the coolest thing. It's just the coolest thing ever. And I'm sure I would be terrible at it.
Have you tried at all?
No, I have not.
You should try it, see what happens.
I'd have to get one first, and that's the main issue. I've got all these tuba mouthpieces hanging around my house, so I don't have a tuba either. That would be a fun one to get back. That would be fun to get back into.
Yeah.
Because it's like you know how your bass like reverberates again, but it's solid wood, so like okay, it's like like dude, when you play tuba and you're sitting there and you got 25 feet of metal just absolutely like vibrating on you, playing like down real low, it's cool.
I bet. We played with some like big bands. Like we had one hop on stage with us to do like a Chameleon cover one
Yeah,
time, and like the tuba was just getting it. It was crazy. So beefy.
the dudes who can do that play like those real like the funk bass lines, or like get into like the kind of like Jocko inspired bass lines on but on tuba. That's so bonkers. I mean, because it is like 20 or 25 feet of, so they're pushing air through 25 feet of stuff, but at 16th notes.
Yeah.
You're like, can you like, come on, dude.
Come
Their
on.
lungs must be like super buff.
Yeah, you're making me want to like try out a tuba, see what happens.
It's cool. I was lucky to play in a thing though. You know, like by yourself, you're like, okay, it's fun.
Yeah.
But when you get to push, it's like playing bass in like a rock. It gets loud. It's loud, and it's like sounds huge. Like so when you turn your amp up really loud and you drive your rock band or whatever around, because they have to do whatever you play basically because it's bass. Like it's the same. Tuba's like got the same feel.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go back to when you started. So when you started in 2001, jamming with your friends, like, was your goal to write music, or did y'all just want to like keep just kind of jamming and see what happens?
We talk about that a lot as we've met more and more musicians who who are real active in like the cover band scene, or they do like this and that tribute band, or they just play and we started writing music like right away because I guess we just assumed, no one told us that you had to do that.
Yeah.
But we just assumed that when you learn an instrument, then you have to start writing your own songs also, which really paid off because that is a skill you need to practice all like any other instrument or music related thing, like setting your stuff up really fast to get out of or take it down before the band comes on the stage, right?
Oh man.
Anything that okay. Any aspect like songwriting is like the hardest. You got to practice it, so you got to write a really bunch of like really terrible songs.
Yeah.
For like a while. So again, feel lucky that we did that, and no one told us to like stop or anything, or that we just decided. I don't know. We just started writing songs like right away. I like that process though too. So we probably were just interested in it. Mm-hmm. That is one of my favorite aspects about being in a band and like being a musician is the songwriting process and like the problem solving and like getting in and being like, okay, what's happening with this song, and like trying to put it together and like and then when it comes out, you're like, oh yeah, that sounds real good.
Was there any point where like you guys feel like you found like the answer to writing songs, like maybe a certain structure or something, like where something clicked and you're like, okay, we can write songs now?
No, because we're all like we're always messing with the form still. So one of the things, I mean, sometimes you're going to do like verse chorus and like throw a bridge in there somewhere and just call it a day because like that's what the song calls for. One of the things with the problem solving and like what I like to do is, okay, what is this song going on? Like, should it be a traditional song structure, or should we maybe explore some other options of like where the song wants to go, which we've done with varying levels of success over the years. It's still fun. I like to push myself like compositionally and like try that. The other side of that is you need to then have the discipline to just say, okay, the chorus is only 3 chords. You can probably write a regular song structure, right?
For sure. So when I was looking up your Facebook, you guys, are you explaining yourself as like what emo fans that grew up and got a jazz degree, emo kids who grew up and got a jazz degree?
Oh yes, that's extremely accurate.
So when do you how do you fit like maybe those odd signatures or like just different ideas into your music? Do you do that? Do you have an idea before, or does it happen like just while you're writing?
Uh, both is both an acceptable answer.
Yeah, for sure.
These people are getting in an accident in the alley. Oh boy, that
Oh,
was
no.
close. There was almost a car accident outside my window.
Dang.
I think they're good. The the odd meter stuff. I try not to have that be the end goal of a part or a song. Is just for it to be in a weird meter, because then you end up it's not very interesting for like the listener. Where if you use it to subvert expectations or like come up or surprise someone, right, or come up with something interesting to say with it, then you can use it very effectively. So we rarely are in like I don't think we have any songs that are straight odd meter all the way through.
Yeah.
We tend to be mixed meter, and we'll do I could play you examples with my audio stuff here if you want.
Yeah. Well,
It-
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
The first time that I like heard y'all is because I saw you post Space Force in like one of the pop punk
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
groups, and I was like, this is awesome. It's super pop punk, but it definitely had like that different feel, and like you could tell it still stayed within the pop punk realm. But like when I read like emo kids with jazz degrees, I was like, oh, cool, like totally makes sense. So that's kind of like the idea that I had.
And that's accurate. That I think is probably our most straight up pop punk song in like a while.
Yeah.
But we had fun with it. That's a good quarantine turnout thing because we had nothing else to do. We were like, well, why not write that? We were like joking about it for a while, and then we kind of did it. And it people like it.
Yeah.
We ended up putting it on like streaming and stuff, which we were not planning on doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, enough people asked for it, and it did like, not like we're crushing it with Spotify numbers or anything, but it did like jump up past pretty much all the other stuff. So somebody likes it, which like, hey, that's great. There's a lot of dick jokes.
Damn it.
And then it's like it's very stop drop rewind because there's if I explain like compositional side stuff, it's like too smart for like dick jokes. There's like a bunch of Star Wars and like Star Trek references all over the music and like little tiny music things that I snuck in there. Which we did like the John Williams ripping off Holst, the planets thing, which he's probably just doing like a Mahler thing there too. But like nobody knows that. It's because I shout Dippin' Dots in the middle of, so no one's paying attention to the harmony there. But like it is there. It's when does it happen in Star Wars? It's when they're dragging the Millennium Falcon into the Death Star like the first time, like in the first one. There's like a musical cue there. Are you a Star Wars guy?
I've seen it, but I don't know the cue, or I know the song, but I'm not
You don't
sure.
have every single minute of music from Star Wars memorized. Come on.
I'm sorry.
That's cool. When anybody watches this, they'll be like, well, that guy is a huge nerd.
It's super creative to even add things like that. So like, is that something where it's just kind of like you're recording and you're just like, oh, this would be pretty cool to do here? Or, how do those like ideas come up?
That is the part. That's the part from when we wrote it. So
Okay.
I try to have everything kind of set before we go in the studio, and we will poke around and see if we can come up with anything. But with the way the recording process is, you don't want to be there for like 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Which we definitely have done. Our 2018 album took us like 6 months to record or something, and that was like going multiple times a week out. And the guy, I mean, he lives like an hour away too, which you live in Texas, which is huge, and the Midwest is not a small place. But that starts to stack up 2 hours in a day in the car, and then you're also all having day jobs and playing shows and trying to get the studio done. We started pre-production in like January of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Started recording, I think, at the beginning of May. We didn't finish till the end of October, and then I didn't get mixes until January of 2018 for the album. But there's like long stuff on there.
Yeah, that's like real deal stuff right there.
Yeah, the singles went faster. We kind of refined the process. We made sure we had longer sessions, which helped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been trying to take care of some stuff. If we want to put in a guitar part, like you said, like try something out in the studio, I try to have it all like 2 or 3 ideas written before we go, and so it's just plug it in instead of saying, okay, what does this need?
Right.
Try to be smart about it.
Yeah, I mean, and two, like you have equipment, right, to like record. It sounds like so, utilizing all of your resources there at your home.
Yes. And now with everything having been shut down, we all have entered the world of home recording.
Yeah, for sure. Do your other bandmates have recording equipment?
Varying degrees, yes. So I'm kind of in the middle, and I can sort of do some stuff from the house. I did all the demos for the studio cycle we're in right now. But our drummer Andy has like 2 drum sets in the basement, and he's got everything routed through the wall, so he can engineer from outside the room with like the soundproofing stuff and like new vocal mics and like room mics and overheads and things. So he's got kind of an elaborate setup at the house.
Badass.
My house is not that big, so I cannot have that. But I I can demo guitars and vocals and send them out to everyone from the house.
That's cool. Is that what y'all have been doing during this quarantine?
Yeah. We did, if you saw the Weezer and Green Day Fall Out Boy mashup that we did.
Yes.
The Christmas song and another one was a home. Those were home recordings, and like we shot. So I do all that video editing for those. If you've watched those and you think that they're bad people in the world, it's because I have absolutely zero video editing training besides what I have figured out for myself by doing a band for 10 years or 10,000 years. Because you have to know every skill. If you're young and you're thinking about starting a band, do it, but also just start reading everything about everything, because you have to learn all skills all the time.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Like I've had to I teach myself how to edit my videos, how to even set up the like instruments, how to get good sounds from interface, booking.
I say booking, emails, networking, routing a tour.
Yeah.
Not getting in a fight with someone when you live in the van with them for like weeks at a time. All of these are skills that you need.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm in a 7-piece band, so having to deal with 6 other people.
Whoa.
And
my God.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I love those dudes, but it's pretty wild. But yeah, definitely all skills everyone who's starting a band should look into. It's not just playing an instrument.
Nope. Which I'm still, I don't know if that makes me old or whatever. I still think that you should be like trying to be as good at your instrument as you possibly can. But you also, marketing, social media management, all these things are also good. It's tough, man. No, like, it's nice to do everything you can, because then you have control over it. You shouldn't really have to do all of that by yourself. And my band does a nice job. Everybody kind of breaks it up, or I'll say like, hey, I need help with this, and the guys I can send over this or that to somebody else. But like the industry isn't designed that way, right? It's like we're in between the old model and whatever it's going to sort of end up as.
Yeah.
So like a band has to have all those things, and now you've added social media and like independent distribution to like all the streaming services that you don't get paid for, and you're trying to like book tours by yourself and all this stuff. Like I designed some of the merch. Our drummer's wife does most of our graphic design because she is A, really good at it, and then B, also trained at that. So she has like all this stuff to do it. so she helps us out a lot. But like, so then we're trying to like handle like merch and like get all that stuff together. You didn't do that before. If you have like a label, they should do that for you. But there's not everyone has a label now.
Yeah. And so I think like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, like the goal was to be on the label. And I don't think that's the goal for bands now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, are you guys signed?
We're not, we kind of do like have our own label, or
Okay.
we've been on some local, like kind of, I guess we can call it a label, but just it's more like a co-op where we just all use each other to book shows and stuff. So we haven't been on an official like real deal label, but also we can do everything ourselves right now.
Right.
So
you just have, I mean, you have to do the work, but then if you do get paid for it,
yeah,
the money goes straight to you and you don't have to give anybody a cut of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so cool.
Yeah.
But you have to do the work.
Yeah, but here too, I don't know how it is for you. Like in Texas and San Antonio, like even if we do a local show and we get paid for it, like if we're booking it, then we also have to pay out the other bands, or like, and then if we don't get like this sort of set guarantee. It's just like, what's the door gonna make and what's this gonna do, and so like even on top of that, it's hard being like just an original band, because if we did covers, then we can get like, oh, like, yeah, you can pay us like $500 for a couple hours and we'll play covers all night. But
so we do both.
We do too.
Yeah, we fund like a lot of our stuff with being a cover, like a bar band also.
Yeah.
And all we do, and we like have a more polished show because we're not just like a bar band. So we have like the chemistry of being an original band for like 12 years. And then I try to bring the intensity from like the original, like stuff that like some of the bar bands don't do. So people respond because it's still a show. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we've definitely funded like music videos, t-shirts, albums with being a bar band. So because you cut yourself some money, but then you save some for the band too.
Yeah.
Save up, a little savings plan there. That's nice.
For sure. Absolutely. So you mentioned that you feel like you should be good at your instrument. To you, what determines that? Like, how do you know someone's good at their instrument?
Oh, that's a loaded question, sir.
Well, let's stick with bass. How do you know that someone's a good bass player?
How do you know that someone's a good bass player? I said they should try. You should strive to be good at your instrument. By the way, not that you have to be good at it.
Right.
I said your personal goal is that you should strive for that.
Yes.
Because I went to school for jazz. You're never good enough. Keep trying. How do you know someone's okay? So I don't think anybody's ever asked me that before. Everybody just assumes that you know. That's, your first, I would say the first thing is if you're getting getting an audience like reaction, you're making somebody feel something.
Okay.
Right. So you don't have to be great or technically proficient to do that.
Yeah.
But you do make people, or if you are playing for a bunch of musicians and you do something really cool, they are still going to feel something and think that's cool. So that counts too.
Yeah.
And to be more vague, are you doing are you saying what you're trying to say on the instrument?
Okay, I like that.
So like you made a cool sound, but like, can you do it at the gig tomorrow? And are you controlling what's happening in the moment?
Okay, you're getting real deep with it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I'm obviously there's not like a right or wrong answer.
There's definitely not a right answer for that one. What would you say? How do you know somebody's good?
I mean, I guess it would be like timing, making sure
Yep.
they're playing on time in the pocket. But just playing appropriate bass lines, like you don't have to show off all the time, but if you can do
Oh,
some
well, I'm
cool
off the
stuff.
show then.
Yeah.
I'm getting kicked out.
You're a little show off sometimes, but it's cool.
Yep.
You sing too, like that's super impressive. Like that's hard to do. That's how I know you're a good bass player, because you can play bass and sing and you're not just playing root notes,
Okay. Oh God. Yeah. There was a lot of mapping, getting the grid out and going like, okay, this is this note on this beat, and like forcing it through for a while.
Yeah, I actually have a question about that. Like, write do you write your lyrics or melodies based on what you're gonna play on bass, or vice versa? Like, do you write the bass lines based on your vocal melodies? How does
No,
that work?
they're written separately. So our guitar player DJ, who was in the first my punk band in 2000 with me,
Mm-hmm.
he writes all the lyrics for stuff and like the vocal lines.
Mm-hmm.
So he writes all the lyrics, and then we workshop I write most of like the music for the thing, and then I send out the demos, and then we talk about we kind of go over together like the themes for what we want the lyrics to be about. Sometimes he comes in with like a whole thing and like a concept for it, and I'm like, oh, that's really really cool. If I have some musical things that I am feeling very strongly about, I'll say like, hey, because he went to school for English and he's like more creative writingly minded anyway, and I did the music thing, so we're using what we are good at, or
Yeah.
trying to use what we're good at, right? And so I'll say, and I'm not much of a writer, partly because I didn't practice it enough, like we discussed with anything.
Yeah.
Uh, y- y- uh, so sometimes I will be like, hey, this thing that I'm working on has this kind of feel, or I'm thinking about these kinds of like little, like, I don't know, like life vignettes or like this kind of tone or something when I'm working on the part. Like, let's talk about putting the vocals in that direction. But then he'll come back with lyrics. So he writes all the lyrics, and he usually writes all the vocal lines that I end up singing too. We tend to workshop those together, just because then I have to sing it.
Yeah.
And so if I'm like, okay, I can't sing that. Lately, we've been trying to say like, at what register am I in, and like, how is that going to come across the whole texture, and like, can I sing this song every night if it's like this high or this, demanding or whatever, and keep things kind of reasonable. And I have a lot of anxiety about that
Yeah.
because of a Geddy Lee interview that I read. I'll ask myself, why do you have anxiety about that, Kris? Well, let me tell you, I have Geddy Lee's giant bass book. And I think that do you have that? His big book of bass?
I know what it
those-
is. I didn't get it, but I know what the book is. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're a young person and you're on the internet, it's like Instagram, but it's on paper because it's pictures of basses. So it's like looking at, yeah. And they talk about being in the studio, and they start having him after, and here's why I have anxiety about it, because they said they started paying attention to what he actually could like really sing and execute like a lot, like right after the album where I am less into Rush. Then they're like, yeah, then we were like, oh, how about we pay attention to what we're writing and like picking keys that are like good for your voice and stuff. And we had just started doing that. And I was like, oh no, we're old. This is going to be like I hate the stop, drop, rewind music period now that I am not just forcing my voice into things I can't actually say. Like, I hope that's not, but I have a lot of secret anxiety about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're old, but I was gonna say kind of what you had just mentioned, like when did when did that even like come to mind? Because I don't think that's something that younger bands even think about. Just write the music, write what vocally what you can do or what sounds good at the time, but it's like, can you do this every single night? It's crazy. Maybe I'm old too.
That's relatively recent development.
Yeah.
Um, Some of it too is just about having more, like, we're not just scrambling to be in the studio all the time and like just get it done and like get it out so you have more time to make choices. So we do try out songs in different keys and things,
Yeah,
which is
for sure.
it's fine.
Yeah.
It's probably smart. We just did a acoustic single, so I play guitar on that and then sing that too.
The Joy, that was called
The
Joy.
Joke.
Oh, Joke,
Yeah.
Joke.
Yep.
Yeah, I was listening today. Music videos
Nice.
look awesome. It sounds really nice.
Oh yeah, thanks, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun doing that music video too. The Rodney, who is like the star, the actor guy, was in a band in the area called Fragile Soul around here, so we knew him from that, and we were like, "Hey, dude, you like to perform? Do you want to?" Just like, a band that you're friends with, and then
Yeah.
you guys help each other out and stuff. We tried like 4 different keys for that song, because especially with how exposed the vocals are, that was that conversation. It was like, okay, what key is going to have the vocals land for maximum effect? Because I'm into tuning that I don't usually use on the guitar
Okay.
for that song, so we messed with that too. Pretty long pre-production cycle on that song.
Yeah, I mean,
Even though it sounds like straightforward, and that tends to be that way. If the more things that are going on, the more nonsense you can get away with. But if it's just one acoustic guitar and you singing by yourself, like, it's got to be right.
yeah, absolutely. Well, it definitely paid off. The song sounds great. Music video is super cool. I want to talk about how you got into teaching bass.
Oh, somebody recommended me to a store in the area and said that I would probably do a good job at it. And I had no teaching experience, so I was super nervous.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been 4.5 years now that I've been doing that. And I don't have a ton of students, but I have enough, so I can kind of focus on everywhere now. I am sort of expanding. I had a full day for a while, and then I picked up a second day. And so I had I was in well into double digits worth of students, which is a nice amount, nothing crazy. But then when everything shut down, people fell off because their life got disrupted, and they income is much more uncertain.
Yeah.
With the pandemic and stuff. So I've now picked up doing some remote stuff. I have that ability, so I can teach people anywhere in the country. So if you like this, I could talk at you every single week for a reasonable fee and tell you all of my deep and or annoying things about bass that I say. And we go, we do fundamentals and stuff. Besides songs that people like to learn. Everybody want to make sure everybody's interested in working on songs that they like. But I'll recommend stuff for people too. So I am expanding again and trying to get some new students, and have played every kind of music known to man, basically. So I feel reasonably confident teaching people. It was just a recommendation though. Someone said, "Hey, you should try this out," and that was 4 years ago, and I was still trying to get out of my day job at that time.
Yeah.
Which I finally did. Woo.
Yeah.
So I did it and was super nervous, and then I figured it out and kind of developed a system that worked for me. I had taken lessons, which helps because you at least know the format and kind of the expectation of what is supposed to happen. But private lessons aren't teaching really. The store doesn't have a curriculum.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just you out in the world trying to make it work. But I want people to feel like they got a real, we read music and we talk about music theory, and you can learn things by ear, and you can identify why genres work and what the bass is doing, and come up with your own bass lines when someone just starts playing something random. In addition to then knowing standards, you should know a Temptations bass line, and you should know a Blink-182 bass line, and you should know a Chili Peppers bass line, and you should know a Larry Graham bass line, and eh, try to cover a decent amount,
Yeah.
blues bass line, anything that you can come up with. I don't get a lot of ska interest, unfortunately.
Man,
I can do it.
Do you have any ska songs? Have you written any ska songs?
So my buddies started a ska club at our high school that we then all ran for several years. So yes, there have been some ska songs in my life.
Awesome.
I have my biggest ska band is probably Five Iron Frenzy.
Okay.
That I like. And my favorite album is The End Is Near, which is probably their least ska album. Not to get kicked off
really
the show.
Like ska. No.
I do like, I mean, like, so we saw Less Than Jake on the Hello Rockview the year that came out. They toured with Newfound Glory and Charlotte, and they were on Young and the Hopeless and Sticks and Stones. So that tour was nuts. First off, especially in retrospect, like it was great when we saw it. We were like, "Woo!" But that just seemed normal because you're like 13 and that's just like you listen to. And now those are like all insanely monumental albums for people. Yeah. So we saw that tour, me and DJ, who's in the band. That's like a ska album, and like I like Streetlight, and I'm a '90s kid, so of course Mighty Mighty Boss Sounds make me happy.
Yeah, of course they have to.
But Less Than Jake and them kind of fell off with like the horns and stuff too. They kind of went more straight rock.
Yeah, for sure. Luckily enough, like we opened for Less Than Jake, but
dude, nice.
There was like 6 or 7 openers. It was one of those shows.
I've been there. I've been on so many of those.
So we had a venue called the White Rabbit, and like when I was in a metal band, there'd be like 30 bands in one night. So ridiculous.
I don't know why that's just metal bands. So when we were doing in Maryland, it was like all pop punk. 4 to 6, and 6 is a lot, and 4 is like okay.
Yeah.
3, 4, nice. 5, 6. All right, like settle down.
Yeah,
and I want to play too and get in front of people, but like you don't need to see 6 bands. You're not going to remember 6 bands if you're just like an average show attendee.
Exactly.
That's the biggest issue with that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like my biggest goal was to be like, hey, we need just to be remembered. Like,
yep.
Whatever we do, like put on a really good show, like focus on the show aspect of it, and then talk to people and get them to remember our name.
And talking to people like before and after you play is the only thing, because everybody can play.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you sound like absolutely terrible, but like assuming that everyone has a level of like competency, you have to talk to people. Yeah. We can break this up into our podcast about just starting a band.
Yeah, for sure. We need one. People need to hear the stories.
Well, that's with all the clickbait. Nobody wants to be in a band anymore, right?
Yeah.
Maroon 5 guy says bands are dead. God. So now, yeah, come on.
I saw that. Hey, I really liked Adam on The Voice, so I just can't dog him. No.
My issue isn't that he said that. It's that I think he thought he was helping.
Yeah.
And he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
I'm aware that people wrote like the metal or Consequence of Sound and like metal. What's the big clickbait metal aggregator site?
They have like Metal Sucks or
those kinds of things. Like they wrote that for clicks because it's a really spicy single line headline.
Yeah, for sure.
But I know what he meant. But he also didn't back it up.
Yeah.
With anything. Like that first Maroon 5 album has like cool songs on it, and they were like a band at that time. So like obviously bands exist. But he didn't say And I'll get a lot. I'm sure I'm looking forward to the hate I get in the comments for my strong opinions today. It's because my other band members aren't here to like moderate or to like dilute what I'm like saying and like say funny things in between. It's just me shouting strong opinions the
It's
whole
okay.
time.
We're here for it. This is about you.
This was a bad idea. This was a bad idea. Can I call my guitar player real fast? I'll just put him up to the mic on the phone. He didn't, because I think he thought he was trying to help or be like, band still exists, but like he didn't say Bandcamp has been running no profit taking Fridays for a year under COVID to support artists.
Yeah.
He didn't say there's a bazillion independent bands on Spotify who are all making no money, like go stream their stuff overnight with the sound off to like support them. He didn't say check out any alternative website that promotes a bazillion new bands a day.
Yeah.
Like even alternative press is like not mainstream for people that listen to that like know who Adam Levine is, right? And they debut 16 new bands a day.
Yeah.
And they're constantly running like listicles of like new bands from every state you should check out and stuff, right? And he didn't say, every band in your neighborhood is playing down the street, because everybody knows there's like local bands. But I'm trying to think of. You see what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, for sure. Like
you can say like the follow-up sentence could have just been, "Get on Bandcamp and buy something."
Yeah, support your local bands,
right?
Music, like. I mean, I don't know. And that dude's just, I guess, out of touch or
right.
Not,
that's basically that's my take. That's my takeaway.
Yeah.
From that, no one thinks that there's no bands anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Big Star, whatever. Like, who are you? Like, is that dude listening to new music? Like, I don't know. Obviously not, I guess.
Right.
Anyways, yeah.
Well, is it for him? All like I don't know what Adam Levine listens to.
Right.
He could listen to only Maroon 5 albums in his house. I don't, or like he wears only purple pajamas and listens to Prince all day.
Yeah, I mean he could. I don't know. Yeah, Adam Levine. Bad take on that one, buddy. Okay, I want to talk about your two basses I see behind you.
I can get out more if you want.
I mean, what do you got? What do you know?
I'm definitely kidding.
What are you working?
I mean,
with?
I have more, but so I've got my main bass is 2008 Music Man Sterling.
Yeah.
Yep. With single coil at the neck position, which they no longer offer for some reason, even though it sounds amazing. And that's been this is the bass I use for like almost all the Stop Drop Rewind stuff and most of my gigs. It's good all-purpose bass with all the, wide pickup coverage here and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty standard bass. It's pretty grimy. And
Yeah.
you can see the brown line right there. That is not part of the instrument. That's just my gross gig sweaty hands curing the instrument over a 12-year period here. Okay.
That's the character right there.
That is the character.
Yeah, I love Sterling. I play a Sterling for most of the covers that I do.
Oh, nice.
Because it's so like versatile. It has the growl even like it's just so good. Like
I don't know why they don't. So they still. I mean, they obviously they do Stingrays with the big boy that's like the standard Stingray config, and then they do the HH, the double humbucker Stingray. I think when they do they still do double humbucker Sterling. So besides like the body being smaller, and I don't have the chrome, like plate behind the knobs and stuff that like a Stingray would have. There's a ceramic, I think it's this one. It's like a ceramic. The pickup is different, where like a Stingray is the same thing the whole time. And if you're a huge Ernie Ball fan, and you can yell at me in the comments if I'm incorrect. But I got a lot of my cymbal bites too. When you smash your drummer's cymbals, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've done that a couple of
The
times.
ye olde character. So I don't know why they stopped selling the what's it called? The single coil of the neck position. They must have just not been getting the sales. But
Yeah,
I love it. It's got kind of a unique character on the top there, and I think the double humbucker one's kind of, it's like, okay, I know, I like, it's just two humbuckers in there. Jazz bass. This was the classic Guitar Center couldn't sell it because they bought too many of those American Elites.
yeah.
In like I think this is a 2017.
Mhm.
I got it in 2018 because it was still sitting at Guitar Center. So they sold it to me for like an absolute bottom dollar discount because it had sat there for so long. And there is a ding on the back of the neck that you can't even see on the camera. And that's it.
I love that. I love that.
Dude, that's like the best thing ever. So, and it's, I mean, so it's like your standard, the J bass, and with the active passive bypass. Much newer than the other one, so I have much less character.
It's a beautiful bass.
Thank you, sir. I have a funny. We'll see if you've done this before. My Music Man, I blew a capacitor in it. I put a battery in it backwards, and apparently the older wire, they did something where if you put the battery in the battery housing backwards, you can blow out components in there. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think they've come up with a way to fix that now. But my bass is older than that, so I blew a capacitor and had to take it in, but I had gigs. And I have a Ibanez 5-string, like the sound gear ones that everybody has. I think you have one.
Yeah, I have one of the sound gears.
Yeah.
It's like right there chilling.
Yep. Yours is like all relicked out. It's like real beat up, isn't it?
Yeah, that's from, tour mainly.
Yep. Nice. So, but I didn't want to use that on whatever I forget. I was having wiring problems with that one too, so it wasn't reliable at the time. I think I've got it like fixed now so I can use it. I had that strung up as a tenor bass
Nice.
right now, actually. So it's a high fifth string and not a low fifth string. I bought that J bass because they were fire sailing it. And I ordered the Elite P bass, like the PJ split at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely gorgeous, like the tobacco finish or whatever, like awesome, like the light sunburst one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played this bass for 2 weeks. And I had the P bass for a day.
Dang.
Because I said I need a bass, but I talked to the guy because I kind of know him, and I said I'm going to do this, but I'm going to buy the P bass new from you, so you'll end up making money on this because I know I'm going to return it. I'm going to do the rent from Guitar Center that we all do.
Yeah.
I returned. Dude, I felt so bad, but like I played this bass for 2 weeks and like absolutely fell in love with it, and I got the P bass and I did one gig and I was like, nope.
No. Yeah.
I took it. I picked it up, took it to the gig, and was like, "This is not it." And I plugged in the next day at the house and was like, played for like 4 hours and was like, "This is not it." And I drove it, picked this one back up on my way to the gig the next night. And he saw me coming in and he was like, he was just shaking his head. I was like, "I know, dude. I'm sorry." Because they had to get it shipped from the factory.
Yeah. I mean, hey, he knew what was up.
Well, I mean, they know, they all play too. And if you know with an instrument, like you know.
Yeah, for sure. Your story about the Sterling, the capacitor, and the battery, like reminded me of the 6-string I have, which is made by Samick, like some Korean brand.
Yep.
So I had just got it. I think it was my first bass that was active, and I wasn't getting sound. So like I figured out I had to change the battery.
Yep.
And when I opened it, like I bought it pre-owned, but whoever like I guess sold it or something, they left a little like message in there and it just said "you suck." And that was all it said.
What?
Like in the battery little
It's pretty
backing
good.
or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
What?
They probably knew they're gonna sell it or something,
Yeah.
and then like
That's
that was
so.
my little surprise
I've
for
definitely never experienced that. You know, I'm not like a big bass buyer though.
yeah.
Like,
I
so I haven't bought. That was 2018 that I bought
mhm.
the J bass, and I haven't bought one since then. And I hadn't bought one before that since 2011.
Yeah. That,
So, I'm sort of in the market again because
what are you
I
thinking?
once I got the J bass, I like the process of figuring out like what gigs I want to use it on and like how to really get the EQ dialed in and like what to play like if it sounds real good on it and stuff like that. Kind of
Yeah.
gear creative process was kind of fun.
Uh,
So I'm thinking about it.
so for your EQ, do you have an EQ that you like that you set before shows, or do you adjust your EQ while you're at shows?
I'm pretty close to flat.
Okay, me too.
Yeah, honestly. And then I'll like adjust mids to like compensate for like the room a little bit.
Yeah,
And then right hand position.
yeah, yeah.
And that's about it. I mean, so I say that I do use SansAmp
Okay,
bass driver, and also I have run the Geddy Lee signature SansAmp, and SansAmp products are pretty heavily scooped.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
I
like, yeah, my bass is pretty much just like wide open, but I will dial it. The what is that? The presence knob on the bass driver will bring that back in, but it gives you overtone series frequencies too, not just like straight rolling up the mids on your bass. I mean, it's like a trade off, right?
yeah, yeah, for sure. I've had a Sans amp like just a regular like basic pedal, and they had the one with the 3 channels or whatever. But I always like sell them for some reason. I think like I like the tone, I love it, but I think just having like extra pedals and stuff,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just like just plug in. I have a Fender
Are
Rumble.
you a dark glass guy then?
I like them. Honestly, I haven't played too much of the high end stuff.
Okay.
Like I did play an Aguilar like bass and head, and I played it with like a Reverend bass, and like that you could hear like everything.
I would say there's a hyper modern setup to turn the highs all the way up. You get that little
Yeah.
sound on top of it. Yeah.
Yeah, man,
Classy.
it's crazy. It's crazy. But right now I have a Fender Rumble 500, and I normally play a 5 string like jazz bass. So
Oh, okay,
you
cool.
know, it's
I
pretty
sold my
cool.
I sold my 5 string jazz like years ago.
Yeah,
I hated that bass though so much. I had a made in Mexico one, and those are the quality can be real good or real bad, and I
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
I hated
The one I
that. And I
have,
played that. I played it like a lot. I hated that bass.
so my excuse to get this bass was that I was doing a streetlight, like Halloween streetlight set, and streetlight bass player has a 5 string, and I didn't
Oh,
have a
okay.
5 string anymore. So I was like, yeah, I have to get a 5 string to play
That
this.
yeah, legally you have to
Yeah,
get
I
one. That's
have to
yeah,
do
that's
it.
true.
So I convinced my wife, and I got it. But this one's okay, but haven't like changed anything. I'm just playing it the way it is, and like the strings are wound up all like shittily, and just like it's it's pretty crappy setup, but it's doing its job right now. I've been real lazy to
Nice.
buy strings.
That's the only way I change my strings a lot.
I think you're fading.
For like, oh, am I there?
You're a little bit. That was weird. Oh, there you go.
Am I still here?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay, I didn't change anything. I solved it with the power of believing in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big like mod guy.
Hmm.
I'm sure you're on like a bunch of bass like groups and like forums and things too.
Yeah.
And like those dudes are nuts.
Yeah.
Are you in one of like the big ones like tens of like I'm in Bass Players United, like
Yes.
the
I mean,
Facebook group.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. Those guys, yeah, some of those, you know what I'm talking about. Some of those dudes are like, yeah, I chopped down a tree in my yard,
Yeah.
and then I forged a saw from the steel at the bottom of my car to make a bass. And you're like, what?
He,
Just
yeah.
order a Sweetwater, dude. Oh my God.
Yeah, for real. I use American Musical Supply, but
Okay.
Sweetwater's cool too.
But
Yeah.
that is a hobby unto itself, right? They have a second hobby on top of their other hobby is the thing.
Yeah, for sure. Some people are wild with their gear.
Yes. I have a really modded out P bass, but I didn't do most of it.
Yeah. How's it modded out?
I don't know the history of the instrument, so I have a lot of questions and I'm never going to get any answers. My buddy just had it. He found it in the closet at a music store, and he had it in his closet then because he doesn't play bass. And so now I have it and I did some work to it. I don't know what the original part is, like when the body was made or something, but the previous it's got a badass bridge on it, so that's new. The pickups were replaced with active EMGs, and it wasn't initially an active bass, so they had to drill out.
No, the battery.
Oh no, in the front. It's under the pick. To change the battery, you have to take the pick guard off.
Oh,
it's
I've
like a
seen
super built bass. It's like one of those ones you see.
Yeah.
So it's not the world's best gig bass because you can't, if you're going to take it, you better take another one, because if the battery dies, you are not changing it before the song is over because you got to take the pick guard off.
Yeah.
But it sounds bonkers. They're like the hottest pickups I've literally, if you look at the waveform, it's just like a big long rectangle. Absolutely no dynamics, but it like smashes the hell out of any preamp. So it sounds pretty wild. It's like a P bass, so it's kind of chunky already. And then the pickups are real hot. They drilled that out and like rewired it, right? So they also changed the neck, which didn't fit the pocket. So they sort of sanded it down and like beveled it, but not enough. So the base, like the finish, and maybe some of the wood around the pocket is cracked. So I had to then, I actually sanded it all the way down, and now it fits real snug, and the action isn't like a disaster. I had to mess with the truss rod a bunch. They didn't have a string tree on there because they replaced the neck, but then they changed all that too. They took the tuning machines off and the string tree. Why did you replace the neck and then change all of the hardware on the neck?
Yeah.
And it was the wrong size neck. I have no answers. I changed the pick guard in the string tree and I did the neck adjustment. So that bass has been through it all.
Yeah.
It's a mess. It's fun to play though, because the pickups are not appropriate for the kind of bass that it is, but it sounds real bonkers.
Yeah, you got to post it in the group.
Oh God. Someone please help me explain this bass. And then you see, the problem with that though is then you get a bunch of guys just posting pictures of their bass to you.
Yeah.
You're like, what happened with this bass? And they're like, this is mine.
Yeah. Nice bass. This is mine.
All right. You did not answer my question, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. It's like a little over an hour. So
yep. Bass talk there.
Yeah. Good stuff. I think we're gonna have to do a part 2 of this, because I think we can continue to talk
part 2
about
now
bass.
with more basses and spicy opinions.
More basses, more opinions. Let's go. Where can people listen to Stop, Drop, Rewind?
Yeah, please check it out. We are everywhere you find music: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, regular old YouTube, and clips and things are always on Facebook, Instagram, and now we're on TikTok.
Yeah.
SDRKLO, and then DJ is DJCSDR. But the norm, anywhere you find music, we are there. So you can sync your TikToks to our music as well. Spotify, and of course our website, stop.drop.rewind.com and stop.drop.rewind.bandcamp.com are both good places to find us too. I also do Nicholas Kazonis Band. That's on Facebook and Instagram. It's soul and kind of like blues or R&B inspired act, and we play all over the area. And then I play with the Joe Marcinek Band, sometimes kind of jammy, fusion-y thing. And I am the bass player for Kofi Baker's Psychedelic Trip, and we do some of his dad's music. He's Ginger Baker's son. And then we also do some like Beatles, Hendrix, Blind Faith, etc., etc. Like, cool classic rock stuff.
Yeah.
So I get around, but stop.drop.rewind.com, facebook.com/stop.drop.rewind are all good places to find me.
Perfect. Well, and thanks so much for talking to me, man. Again, we got to catch up and talk some more bass and more opinions. But you
Also, because we got to talk about, I'm pretty sure I saw you do like Lost music, right?
Yeah.
Was the thing that you okay. They had a thing at South by at Maggie Mae's for a while, right?
Yeah, I booked a few of them.
I've definitely been to multiple of those.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I saw you put see now we got stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely gonna do it, man. Well, I appreciate it. You have a good night and we'll catch up again.
Cool, man. Thanks again. See you soon.
All right, later.